Here we go. This is the most made dish on our smoker. We make this quite a bit. Sometimes we make 2 or 3 of them. We'll make them on weekends and eat it through the week. It's a spatchcocked, brined, smoked whole chicken. And I use a special rub on this one that I'll talk to you about. It's kind of a kitchen sink rub. But we'll get going here on spatchcocking this bird. If you've never spatchcocked a bird before, I'm going to show you how to do it. Spatchcocking is basically removing the spine of a bird and then kind of splaying it out and cooking it. It makes it cook a lot faster, and especially for smoking, it takes up more of the smoke and it gets in the brine better. I also kind of slash mine, stab into the meat a little bit deeper to get the brine in there, but you'll see that when I get to that part. So we're gonna flip this bird over, and what we're looking at here is this, basically you have the little tail here, and we're gonna run from the neck on each side down with a knife. Now, most of the chickens this size that you buy in the grocery store are 4 to 5 pounds, sometimes up to 6. I like them around that 5-pound range. This one's 5 3/4. It's a little bit bigger. I have my boning knife I'm going to use, and in case I need a little help cutting through some of it, since this is a little bit bigger chicken, I've also got a set of poultry shears here, but I'm not sure if I'm going to need those. So I like to mark down where I'm going to cut on each side. So that's basically the back we're going to take out. Now once the back is out, you can save it, use it for broths or making a stock. I'm just going to throw this one away. I don't have any use for this one. Could freeze it, I suppose. All right, so we got the backbone out. This one's actually still a little bit frozen here. See, there's some ice in it. So I'm gonna flip this bird back over. We're gonna just push down in the middle here. You can kind of hear a break. And there we have our spatchcocked bird. I'm also gonna trim some of the extra skin and fat off it now. You can see by the amount of water coming out of this thing, it was a little bit frozen. Still, it doesn't feel frozen. So I also like to do with my chickens what I was talking about is I'll slash through the skin and cut into the breast a little bit there, make a couple slashes. Same thing over here, one on each leg, each thigh. And I'll show you once it's out of the brine, I actually get the rub down inside these areas, and I think it helps it to kind of soak up the brine too. So my chickens kind of look a little funny sometimes. I'm gonna poke them a little bit with a knife too so brine can get in. But I want it to be able to get through that skin. All right, on to making the brine. So let's get this brine put together and get the chicken into the brine. I'm gonna be brining in this stainless steel pot here. If I'm doing bigger chickens or more chickens or a turkey, I do 25-pound turkeys, I use a 5-gallon food grade bucket. This one should fit fine into this stainless steel pot. My brine is going to be 32 ounces of water, 1 cup of brown sugar, 1/3 of a cup of kosher salt, mix it up with my immersion blender. Feels pretty good. We're going to get our bird into the pot. Cover it with our brine. And we'll refrigerate that for 12 to 24 hours. I usually go overnight. I usually do about 12-hour brine on the chicken. So here's our funny looking chicken. Came out of the brine after around 20 hours. I rinsed it off in the sink and dried it, patted dry with paper towels as best I could. Next step here is to put the rub on it and get it on the smoker. So we're almost ready to go here. The rub I'm using, which I will put the ingredients down below this video, is a sunshine rub. I used to call this the big rub, and then it sort of became my summer rub, and then my everything under the sun rub. It does have a lot of ingredients in it. You, of course, can use whatever rubs that you like. You can purchase a commercial rub or whatever you want to put together. This does have a lot of ingredients in it. I've tweaked it over the years, but I really like this rub now for a lot of things, including pork shoulder and sometimes even pork loin. I do one of our Thanksgiving turkeys smoked with this rub on it also. So we're gonna get it. I'm gonna start on the back. I don't coat the back a lot. You can see I went a little deep when I cut the back out yesterday. I kind of cut through a little bit, but it'll be fine. You do have to worry about some of these stray bones here when you're cooking and cutting and watch your hands, but I start up a little high. There's some brown sugar in this rub too, and sometimes it kind of hardens into little clumps that you have to kind of crush, and I like to crush them right on the meat. Get up underneath all the skin. I'm gonna do the backs of the wings here. All right, roll it over. And then, like I was saying, I get down underneath the skin where I've cut these notches in it. There's a nice little lump of brown sugar. Into those slashes underneath the skin. Lift up the skin, go down underneath onto the meat. Sometimes it's hard to get the skin nice and kind of crispy. I start at a higher temperature with my chicken. I try and cook my birds at the same temperature I would cook in the oven. So when I do my slow and low meats like brisket and pork shoulder, I will cook those at around the 250 to 275 on the smoker. But for poultry, I try and get as close to what I do a poultry in the oven. So if I do a turkey at 325 or chicken at 350, I try to get my smoker to that and cook it similar to that. And that looks fairly wonderful. So we'll get the smoker going. This is still a little bit chilled. I like to leave it out at room temperature for about an hour before it goes on the smoker, just to get it up to close to room temperature. And we'll get out there and get some wood cut and get a fire going. Got the chicken off the smoker. When it hit 165, I'm gonna let it rest for probably about 30 minutes, and then I'll cut it up. I usually keep the legs and thighs whole and then cut up the breast meat and the wings separate. Or sometimes I will do like a pulled chicken and just cut up all the meat, which is what I think I'm gonna do today. So we'll let it rest here and then we'll cut it up. But it smells wonderful and it's gonna taste great.